I would like to talk with you about how to stay awake. I assure you it's one of the most important questions you can ask yourself. There is a lot of reasonably good information on YouTube alone about awakening, spiritual awakening, what you go through, what you can expect, and how to handle it pretty well. Now, in all due respect, I've been doing this for a long time. I woke up first in 1999, and there are a lot of lessons that follow this initial transformation. Because if you follow through with the process of awakening and learn to stay awake, eventually you reach certain thresholds, which I do not hear talked about very often. Thresholds where you remember past lives on a regular basis. You tap into them. You discern what is and isn't your own, and you unravel the way in which it influences your karma then and in this lifetime. You tap into the ways in which you have spiritual family, soul family, that is often with you, beings that have been with you for many lifetimes. And I'm talking a step beyond this. Oh, we're twin flames. Oh, we're soul partners, which I do hear many people talk about. But I don't often hear people taking their spiritual awareness to the next level and discerning, no, for real, is this true? It's not just true because you had an intense experience with someone. How do you measure that it's true? How do you discern the difference between an intense experience you have within this lifetime for which you don't have a context and the genuine connection that transcends this lifetime? These are the kind of things that eventually do become clear. And developing the tools to make them clear is an essential part of staying awake. The last and in many ways most important layer that I'd like to invite you into is that at a certain point, your psychic awareness advances to the extent that you have moment-to-moment conversations with pretty much anyone or anything that you focus upon. Now, I say you, this is me. This is what has happened to me in over 20 years of working with the dynamics of spiritual awakening. And I do not believe that I am extraordinary in a way that's apart from you. I think I've been learning skills and lessons that you can learn too, which involve changing the baby when she wakes up. One moment. There is a lot more to learn than just how to handle the initial phases of awakening. When insight, guidance pours in. Because what's happened, one of the fundamental aspects of awakening that occurs is that you start to wake up and you can tap into the guidance that teaches you how to handle it. It's here with you. You don't necessarily need someone else. But it could be really confusing discerning between what is true and what are the ideas, the speculations, the expectations you have about this process. So it not only matters quite a bit how you understand yourself in this process, but it matters that you're honest with other people about where you are in this process. And it can be tempting to receive this guidance and turn around and just give it to other people. Now, there is a simple remedy to this problem. Be honest. Be honest that that is what you're doing. Be honest not only with other people, but with yourself. If you are learning something right about now, for the past couple months, recently, you're in the process of integrating it and you know full well you haven't fully integrated it, don't pretend you have. Getting other people to believe in you is something isn't really going to work. Because if you're only propped up into a position of awareness, into like a sense of spiritual, I am a guru, I am a master, if you're propped up into that sense by other people's respect for you, however misguided, it's fragile. You'll fall. I promise you. You'll slip every time they change their mood. Because the reality is we are tapping into the ways in which we have the capacity to be interwoven with everyone, moment to moment, day to day, no matter where they are. I can feel people on the other side of the world when I tune into their presence, their consciousness. And if I convince 7 people all over the world to see me as something, that helps me be that. But if I'm dependent on them to be that, it's fragile. And it's not only fragile, but it's misguided and confusing to recruit other people into that. So the simple remedy is to be honest. Be honest about who you are and be honest about how this process works. When I receive new guidance that I have not learned, I have not integrated, I'm hearing it right about now, I say so. I say I'm learning this now. And I expose to you the fact that I'm not done I'm in an ongoing process of learning and expanding like everyone is. And you recognize me as that. And I no longer masquerade as some kind of infinite fountain of wisdom that knows everything. But here's the problem. We all know everything. You get to tap into what many know as the Akashic records. The simple version is you get to tap into universal awareness, and you go. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And in order for that to make sense, you need to commit to the discipline to stay awake. And in order to do that, you've got a lot of work ahead of you. And if you don't like seeing it as work, you will probably go back to sleep much more quickly than you think. But the beauty of this process is that the initial surges of awakening, often with a Kundalini release, often with some surge of trauma to the surface, well, there's joy in there that's so strong that it keeps people wanting more. It keeps us wanting to stay awake. And that alone is enough to keep you fueled. What I'd like to give you are some of the basic tools that you can commit to as part of the discipline of remaining awake. And it'll help you quite a bit to stay focused on them and to commit every day to a little bit more of what you can do to work at it. I invite you to explore the playlist Psychic and Spiritual Awakening. It begins with the next video that teaches you a basic tool that can fundamentally transform your ability to stay awake and make use of your newfound beautiful awareness.